Bitcoin is still at $97,000. We just had the weekly close, and as you can see here on the screen, it is insane. We have had the highest weekly close in Bitcoin ever, and as you can see here, it's just been 3 straight non-stop up-only weeks, and literally in the past 3 weeks, the price of Bitcoin went from $66,000 to $99,000. That is a $33,000 move in just the past 3 weeks. It is absolutely insane. It is literally the biggest move price-wise that we have seen in the history of Bitcoin, and it is just absolutely crazy. So, what is happening? Are we getting close to the top? Are we just getting started? Should you buy Bitcoin? Should you buy altcoins? I want to do a bit of an update in this video. So grab yourself your favorite beverage and let's dive straight in. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Dirk. Make sure you subscribe to my channel on YouTube. Follow my page on Instagram so that you do get updates. I make these updates as much as possible, almost daily, for free, so that you can have the best information and knowledge coming from someone who has been in the space since 2017, who has seen the previous boom and bust in 2017, in 2021, and now can give you that experience from what I've seen in the crypto space to help you make better decisions so that you can hopefully have a lot more profits. Just a quick announcement before we start. There is 1 week left today. So next week, Monday, that is Cyber Monday, December 2nd at midnight Eastern Time, I am doubling the price of my VIP membership. So there is 1 week left to save 50%. There's a full 60-day money-back guarantee, no questions asked. So you can sign up, and if you don't like it for whatever reason, you can get a full refund. But if you want to get that 50% discount before the price doubles, you need to join before next week, Monday. And that is where you get access to all my courses, my training, my daily updates, my Discord group, with the entire community of more than 2,800 members, where I'm in there every day sharing my thoughts on charts, altcoins. I share which coins I buy, when I'm looking to sell. We're looking at a checklist for when we think the top is going to be, and we're all in there trying to make as much money as possible. So if you want that help and guidance and you enjoy my videos, come and join us in VIP, save 50% before the price increases next week. Alright, so starting out with this, $97,000. We are so close to that $100,000 level, which is obviously a huge psychological level, like $100,000 per Bitcoin. So one of two things is usually going to happen. And number one is it doesn't break 100,000 and everyone is just selling before 100,000 because everyone has the same idea it's not going to hit 100. So they're selling at 99,000, 98,000, 97,000, and there's just the selling pressure. And if we run out of buyers and there's more sellers than buyers, that could cause a dump. The second option, of course, is that there is continued buying pressure and that we are just going to smash past the $100,000 level, and that those people who are shorting before $100,000, betting on it to break down with their stops just above 100,000, that those are going to get liquidated. So it's basically a big battle here between the bears and the bulls, who's going to end up winning. And as you can see here, as I've shown you, the last 3 weeks has been up only $33,000 move with basically zero correction at all, not even a weekly red candle here at all. So at any point we are due for some sort of pullback, and if we get it, it's probably going to be a $5,000 or a $10,000 pullback. But at the same time, as long as this keeps going, it makes it very tough for people who are sidelined, who have this FOMO, and they're facing the decision: do I just FOMO in at $97,000? Do I just market buy and get Bitcoin and make sure I have my allocation? Or do I wait for a pullback and risk that we don't get the pullback and it just keeps going higher? That is a real dilemma for a lot of people. Now, it's not a dilemma for Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, because he literally just announced today, like in the last hour or so, that MicroStrategy has acquired an additional 55,500 Bitcoin for $5.4 billion, and he bought them at $97,862 per Bitcoin. So Michael Saylor doesn't care. As he said before, he will keep buying the top forever, but he literally doesn't care that the price is $97,000. He threw $5.4 billion into Bitcoin. He just bought them. Doesn't matter, the price is high. So this is absolutely crazy. And as of the 24th of November 2024, MicroStrategy holds 386,700 Bitcoin acquired for $21.9 billion, at an average price of $56,761 per Bitcoin. This is absolutely crazy. So the question is here, what happens next? And we're looking on the weekly chart. I mean, the one thing we can deduce is that the trend is your friend. I've always been saying this. You can go back in my videos over the months, over the years. The trend is your friend. And as long as we are high time frame bullish, then the direction is up until it is not. The trend is your friend until the end. So basically we're bullish until we get that bearish invalidation. And at this point in time, that was also very much the thing that I was looking for when we had that drop to 48,000. You can go and look back on my videos, and I made the comparison here to 2021. We had that drop. As long as the 50-week moving average would hold, we remain high time frame bullish, and the trend is likely to continue in the direction that it was, which is exactly what happened. It was bullish. We had the pullback. The 50-week moving average held as support over here at 49,000. And then we have had a continuation of the trend ever since. So at this point in time, we have to ask ourselves, how long can this continue? And of course, it depends on how much money is going to flow in. And there's no answer to that. Are countries going to start buying? Are other companies, is Microsoft, is Apple going to start buying in the same way that MicroStrategy is? If the answer is yes, and billions of dollars are going to start flowing in at these prices, then obviously, yes, it can continue going a lot higher. But it's going to depend how much new money is going to keep coming in, and at what point does it start getting more attractive to people who own Bitcoin to maybe start offloading some of that Bitcoin. People who bought at 16,000 or 20,000 or 30,000, looking at all these other metrics, that the price of Bitcoin is maybe getting a little bit overheated. If you start to look here at the deviation of the price from the 50 moving average, you can see, going back into the history, that it's getting pretty extreme. The distance between the current level of the 50-week moving average and the price is now at a huge extreme. And again, just like a rubber band that can only stretch so much, typically there's only so much distance, so much deviation from the mean that the price can go before it corrects and before it snaps back. So the higher the price goes and the faster it goes, the closer we get to a correction. Now, as you probably also know, this very much works in line with the previous Bitcoin halvings. So you can see the vertical lines here are the halvings, and the green arrows, well, that's when the price topped previously. So we had the halving here, and then we had the 2017 peak. We had the halving, and then we had the 2021 double top here, but May 2021 and November of 2021. And now we have had the halving in April of this year. We are already 8 months past that halving, and you can see over here, if that were to repeat, well, then we're getting pretty close in terms of a general pattern repetition, in terms of distance away from the halving, where this could potentially stop. And the question is going to be, does this continue and how long? Typically, if we're looking at 12 months post-halving, that would be somewhere between March and April of 2025, but there is no guarantee that that happens. Donald Trump is set to take office January 20th, so that is less than 60 days away at this point. Maybe this is just a big push before he takes office. Or maybe he does take office and maybe it continues to push. There's so many variables, so many unknowns, and it doesn't really help in any way to speculate on that because nobody knows. There's no scientific way to know what is going to happen in future. There's no way to know which companies are going to buy, which countries are going to buy, if they're going to buy, if not. All of that stuff is unknowns. What we do know is we know that we have a chart. We have price action and we have historic patterns and just behaviors of what price tends to do. We also know that there are just extremes on models, extreme deviations from moving averages, and after that it always tends to come back in the same way that market cycles repeat. There's extreme fear on the one end and then extreme greed on the other end, and it just oscillates between those two over and over and over again, regardless of whether this time is different. By the way, that is something that literally everyone I'm talking to at this point in time is saying. Everyone I say to that, hey, we might be approaching some sort of a cycle top, they're all telling me, but this time is different. Nation states, MicroStrategy, companies, ETFs, Wall Street. Yes, that is all different. But if everyone is saying, is this time different? It's the same thing every cycle, right? The previous two cycles, I saw the same stuff. This time is different. So, look, I think we can still go higher. A lot of the on-chain models suggest that there is possibility for higher, 110,000, 120,000, even 140 or 160,000. Again, it depends on a whole lot of variables. But If you ask me, are we closer to the end of this bull market than we are to the beginning of it? And I would say absolutely, definitely yes, because the bull market technically started back in January of 2023, almost 2 years ago, when we started making higher highs and higher lows on the high time frame chart. Now, one thing that I also said at the beginning of October is based on the historic monthly returns. When September was green, we traditionally have historically always had a green October, November, and December. You can see every single time since 2013 in Bitcoin's history. This happened in 2015, it happened in 2016, and it happened here in 2023. And so far, it is on track to happen again. September this year, 2024, was green. October was green. That can't be taken away from us. And November currently is almost plus 40%. There is less than a week left of November. Also, by the way, less than a week before the price of my VIP doubles. So come and join us if you're still on the fence. The link is in the description down below. But literally less than a week left for November. It is highly, highly likely that November is also going to be green. And based on this historic data, that would suggest, if this pattern repeats, that December is also going to be green, which means that we likely still have upside ahead of us, maybe both for Bitcoin, but especially still for altcoins, because I still believe, very much based on the charts that I'll show you in a second, that the cycle top doesn't come until a bunch of the alts that I'm about to show you will also have some sort of exit pump, whether it's a multiple of 3x or 5x or 10x, I don't know. But I feel like based on these charts, before this cycle completely tops and before the bull market ends, that these altcoins, based on the charts, probably have to go higher. Let's go take a look at that. Now, I still think I've made this exact chart in a couple of videos ago, but you know, I'm just continuously updating here, so it's good for a refresher. And if you haven't seen it yet, maybe this is interesting for you too. NEO is probably the one chart that I'm looking at the most in terms of helping me identify when we're potentially approaching a top. And this is simply because number one, this coin was around since before the 2017 bull market. It used to be called Ant Shares. It rebranded into NEO. And back in the 2017 cycle, it was insane. It literally went from cents in the ICO, like literal pennies, to over $200. The people who got in during the ICO in the very early stages made an absolute fortune. But unfortunately, most of those people also didn't know how these cycles were going to go. And while they had unrealized paper profits and massive fortunes, they didn't cash out, and it came all the way back down in the bear market. And that was a learning curve. You can see that is exactly what happened. So if I bring out the annotations, it's very clear to see what happened here. Since 2017, we had the boom and the bust cycle. It completely retraced the entire bull market all the way back down. So you completely round tripped if you didn't sell. Again, this is why it's so important to be in low and to be able to take profits and understand what is happening. That's why I'm making these videos, comparing all this previous data, sharing my experience with you, so that you can have as an informed decision about your, obviously you have to make your own decisions for your own investments, but understanding this and knowing this, if this is your first cycle, can save you a lot of money by understanding that you need to buy low and you need to sell high, because it's all going all the way back down again, most likely in the next bear market. We had a 2-year bear market, price stayed stagnant. We had no idea back then if prices were ever going to recover again. But then we got the second bull cycle, the proper one, in 2021. And once again, the price of NEO went from $11 all the way up to $144. It did more than a 10x, but the exact same thing happened. After the cycle was done, after the bull market was done, NEO, along with the majority of other altcoins, there's no exception, they all went all the way back down again, and they retraced the entire cycle. So once again, if you did not take profits during the bull market, you would have completely round tripped if you were lucky enough to buy low. If you bought anywhere on the way up during the peak euphoria and FOMO of the cycle, you would have gotten completely wrecked on the way down if you did not sell. And now, as you can clearly see in this red box over here, we have been in a 2-year bear market accumulation. And as you can see over here, we have not yet started to move. So with all this global liquidity that is flooding into crypto, with retail coming back in like crazy, we're seeing dinosaur coins like XRP and XLM and Cardano, all coins from the 2017 cycle, we're starting to see those pump. People who have stayed out of crypto for years are starting to come back in. So that makes it very likely, with all the liquidity and all the new money and all the new people and the new eyeballs, that at some point coins like NEO. NEO is not the only one. There's quite a few others that you can look at, but I'm using this as an example here, that you can use this as kind of a prediction of when things are starting to heat up. So in my opinion, there's no guarantees, but based on all of this that I've told you, I would think that we get some sort of pump in this purely just based on the liquidity, purely based on the fact that when a rising tide lifts all boats. It's the easiest way to put it. So all this money is coming in, and as coins are starting to pump, eventually everything moves a little bit higher. Now, maybe NEO never goes back to its previous cycle highs. In fact, I don't actually expect that at all. But some sort of little pump, even if it's like a 3x or a 5x, that is what I would expect. So something like this in the red, potentially you can see this high over here. Maybe that's it. Maybe it goes to $69, which is still at this point in time a 4x. So a 3 to 5x on a coin like NEO would start to make me get more cautious that we are approaching potentially the end of the cycle, because I do believe that, like most coins, this will probably start to move towards the last 1 to 2 months, maybe the last couple of weeks of the entire bull cycle. So this is a very good indicator, and you can simply set some alerts here on a chart like this. When it starts to move, that is when it's time to start getting cautious and potentially start considering your exits. Now, I'm not going to run through too many charts. You can do that yourself because this video is already long enough, but go and look through the 2017 altcoins. Look at this, for example, a coin called Harmony 1. Same thing. It has not pumped at all. It is still in the bear market accumulation. I would expect that a coin like this, purely based on the liquidity, will still have some sort of pump, even if it's only 30% of the previous cycle highs, even if it only goes to about 10 cents, that is still a 4x on a coin like this. You can take a coin like Sol, which is a very low market cap coin. I think it's only on KuCoin and probably a couple of other small exchanges, but it was $4 in the previous cycle. This is super low market cap. So again, based on the overall liquidity, once things get to an exit stage, I believe that before the complete cycle top, something like this will pump, have some sort of pump, even if it's only to this level, like these highs over here, even if it only goes to, like, say, even if it just goes to $1, that's still like a 6x at this point in time. So that is what I'm trying to say, basically to give you this knowledge and information as best as possible. This is what I'm looking at, the easiest way, in my opinion, to kind of judge how far along we are in the cycle. And as soon as coins like this all start to pump, that is, in my opinion, the signal to start getting cautious and start looking to exit the markets. Again, this is my opinion. I could be completely wrong about this. Make your own decisions. This is not financial advice. I'm just sharing with you from years of experience and what I'm personally looking to do. If you want more information in real time, come and join me in VIP. I've been doing that for years. I have the most complete collection of courses, training, complete beginner's course, getting you up to speed on crypto, a complete 60 lesson video course about trading, reading charts, technical trading, leverage trading, spot trading, risk management. It's all in VIP. But above all, we have a Discord group. I'm in there every day, sharing charts, analyzing the markets, answering questions, and of course you get to interact with the entire community where there are tons of smart and successful people, smart traders, successful traders, people who analyze markets and who share their own thoughts and opinions and trade setups and stuff like that there too. All of it is 100% risk-free. There's a 60-day unconditional money-back guarantee. The link is in the description down below. You have 1 week left to buy and save 50%, because next week, Monday, December 2nd at midnight Eastern, I'm permanently doubling the price. So come and join us. It is completely worth it. And if you don't think so, you can get a full refund within 60 days. The link is in the description down below. I will see you in the next video.